Cool. So, yeah. So, hello, everyone. This is Shatika. Now, this is going to be very interesting because I met Geetika when I was on my way to Bali, my flight going there on my Singapore to Germany flight, right? Singapore to, I think,
Germany to Singapore.
Germany to
Germany
Sing.
to Singapore.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Germany to Singapore. So, yeah, we by chance, by God's luck, we sat next to each other on that flight the whole duration. And we're literally working in the same field as far as wellness, right? Mental health, all that, prioritizing, healthy livelihood. So, yeah, I told her about my business that I'm still building. She has a psychiatric practice, right?
Psychotherapist practice. Yes.
Psychotherapist practice. So, yeah, I had to let her know. Can you still hear me okay? I took one earbud out. That I have a business that's centered around all those great things that everyone needs to prioritize more. And yeah, I said, take my contact info. I would love to have you as the next guest. And here we are. So
Thank you,
yeah, tell
Ashley.
the audience more about yourself and your practice.
Okay, so I am a psychotherapist and counselor. I have a private practice in Singapore. I lived and studied in various countries, and finally, I'm here in Singapore for the next few years. And that's about it. And then I think, as you asked me about wellness and self-care, you'll know more.
Right. I'm excited. Um, so, I always say this pretty much every episode. Previous episodes and guests, I've had wellness coaches, mental health coaches, sex therapy coaches, just right where they dedicate their lives to helping others. They help others, they're life coaches and mentors, so they help others sort of find that calmness in them, right? For them to have like a healthier life. So now it's like turning the attention from all the love and attention they give to their clients, right? Asking them like how they prioritize their wellness, their livelihood, their mental health when they're always helping others with that. So I always just like to see the answers of people like yourself. So are you ready for the first question?
I am, absolutely.
Cool, cool. So, how do you find time to hit pause on life and tend to yourself?
It's a daily habit for me, Ashley. It's a habit. As much as I eat food and drink water on a regular basis, I make sure that I do things in the daytime which help me become a better person,
Right,
and a better professional.
right, right.
So, and just as you mentioned earlier, that this profession takes a lot out of us. You have to. There's a lot of emotional energy that gets used up on a day-to-day basis with different clients, and it's a part of our training, and a part of our ethical duty to make sure that we take self-care seriously
Right.
in order to provide optimal services to our clients.
Mm, right, right. Yeah, because you can't, pour from an empty cup if you're in your professional life, you're constantly advising others, giving advice to others, telling others more better ways, right, to jumpstart, their lifestyle, their mental health. So literally, yeah, if you don't practice that same sort of those tactics that you tell others, you're doing no service at all.
We have to. Yes, it's important.
Cool, cool, great answer. So, second question, what does wellness mean to you?
I love this question. I've been waiting for this. And as you know, this is what got us talking in the flight as well,
I
right?
know,
In between dozing off and talking about this, that, and the other.
and god
Um,
awful long flight. It was what, like 12 hours or something like that, 10 hours,
13 hours and
right?
brutal because from New York to Germany, Germany to Singapore, and worse still for you because you had to move on to Bali from
The
there.
valley, yep, exactly. Yep.
Yeah. So wellness actually for me is multifaceted, but when I think of it on a day-to-day basis, I have three strands which I look at, which is mind, body, and soul.
Mm,
I really feel that one feeds into the other, and you can't break one from the other.
cute.
And that's the room I operate with. And that's a huge room to operate with. I think a lot of times we think that, we don't have enough options outside and we can't do much, because, um, city life and modern life in general has restricted our perception of options available out there.
Right.
But really, I mean, if when it comes to mind, there's a whole set of activities that one can engage in. When it comes to body, I personally engage in, I go for massages, I have deep cleansing regimes for my skin.
I
I
love
don't,
that.
I don't put on too much color on my face. Even if I do, it somehow never stays. But I feel that if I feed uh, my soul one way or the other, it shows on my face, and that's good enough for me.
Right.
Um, and that energy shows on my face. And when I'm low, it shows on my face. So I'm pretty
Yeah.
much like an open book,
Right.
is
Right.
what I've heard about myself. Um, yeah, so I mean, mind, body, and soul. So these are the three things primarily that I look at.
Yeah, no, that's a great answer. So you're one of those people that like can't hide their emotions. If they're sad, it shows in your face, your body energy, your body language. If you're happy, that obviously shows. If you're stressed, like you're one of those people where everything shows, like you can't hide it.
Well, I do regulate it. I
Oh.
think I do regulate it. I try to process it, but I don't try to suppress them, or I don't
Yeah.
try to deny myself of my feelings as a human being.
Right.
Essentially, that's the kind of person I am. Um,
Wow.
so there are these, you brought up two strands here, which in psychotherapy, I think, gets addressed quite a lot. Our lives don't exist in two extremes. One is a completely dysregulated. People think that if you're expressing your emotions, it's something scary and
Mm,
harmful. And the other extreme is let's shut everything down and let's not show ourselves at all.
right.
But normality and well-being lies somewhere in between.
Right. I agree. I agree.
Um, I think both are not okay. So there's an optimal existence somewhere in between.
Yeah, either extreme on opposite ends, it's too
Yeah,
far off. It's all about sort of like that balance and harmonizing to like center yourself.
yeah,
Great point.
yeah.
Cool, cool, cool. Now, by the way, how come that was your like well, one of your favorite questions, that one? Because wellness, some people might say, "Oh, that's a hard question. Like, what is wellness?"
Uh, well, I've given it a lot of thought over the years. And I found my rhythm. I mean, when my kids were small and life was happening the way it happens for everybody else,
Right.
um, I used to be so physically drained that had reached a point where I was not, uh, self-care was just not there on the radar.
Mhm.
And at some point, as the kids became more independent and I matured as a human being, uh, I realized that self-care doesn't have to be at the cost of anybody else or yourself.
Right.
It can be made as a part of your daily routine. And once you start looking into it as a part of something that's going to sustain you on a day-to-day basis and some things that could make you a better human being. And once you
Right.
start realizing that, then it's not about choosing it or not. Then it
Mm.
becomes about finding creative ways of making it happen.
Right.
Because
Right.
your brain picks up the signals, and then you realize that, wait a minute, I can be a lot creative. Today I did this, tomorrow maybe my schedule doesn't permit what I did today, even though I liked it. but let me find another way of achieving the same goals.
Mm,
And your brain picks up the aspect of you feeling better and you operating better as a person, as a human being.
right.
And
I
then you
agree.
start changing. Then you start developing a
Right.
habit.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. Like, sort of in any way that you can throughout your day and your routine, incorporating those self-care habits, and not just making, okay, I'm designating like from 7 to 8 p.m. my time for self-care. Because then, what use is that if like you only dedicate a certain time for self-care? You have 24 hours in a day to sort of making those little choices in your routine, your lifestyle, whatever for self-care. And self-care is not just, like bubble baths and face masks. Self-care can also be, I'm gonna call out today. I'm not feeling my best. Self-care is also confiding in a friend. It's people just think it's very like superficial, but no, it's all,
Not.
tied. Wellness, self-care, it's not separate.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. If you feel good about yourself as a human being on the inside, you're going to share that with the world
exactly.
without any effort.
Exactly. Naturally.
And
Yep.
everyone gains.
Everyone
Everyone
what?
gains, and
Gains, yeah.
everyone gains,
Yeah.
and some learn,
Right. From
and
you.
some pick that up at a subconscious level, especially the youngsters around you. They can pick it
Oh,
up at a subconscious level and learn those signals, those,
great answer. As far as that goes. Now, third question, what are your favorite ways to self-care?
at the moment, again, if you look at those three big strands,
Oh, right.
um, right? I mean, I always have that in my head. So, for my body, like I said, I could get into a skincare regime. I could go for a massage. I
Oh,
could choose to slow down, to sleep and take a nap. I could choose to go a bit faster, to go for a walk.
that's
I
good.
could even go for a slow walk or a fast walk.
Right.
I could, and I could decide to chit chat with a friend while walking, or I could decide to be just completely focused. So it just depends on my mood at that point in time, what I think will work for me now,
Right. And what you need now.
what I need now. So I don't restrict myself to a few ways, as I've mentioned earlier. It's quite open. For example, yesterday evening, I was feeling very low for some reason. I don't know why. My energy was feeling a bit drained. Um, I just went for a dog walk. And there was a
Oh,
dog birthday party that took off, and I joined it. And there were these huge, giant, fuzzy retrievers having their cupcakes with peanut butter. I spent about half an hour there. I came back completely recharged.
oh, it's those
Uh,
little things.
and
Yeah,
and I dumped my walk, sat on the grass with my friends, let the dogs have their fun and their treats, and that's it. So the
that's
idea
good.
was to take the dog for a walk and just take it a bit easy. The dog was having a good time. I was having a good time. And then about half an hour, 45 minutes later, I was home completely charged.
That's good.
So
That's good.
yeah, and that's the, mind soul aspect of it. Um, and the mind part would be, so I take breaks. I don't schedule breaks, but I take breaks because the nature of my profession is such I have to schedule my day according to my client
Right.
appointments.
Right.
And sometimes that goes into my meal time or other stuff.
Mhm.
So I take breaks in between. I listen to music.
Oh,
I,
that's good.
sometimes I just stretch myself, deep breaths, just quiet my mind. Sometimes I reduce the sensory overload. So music goes out the
Oh,
window, all the noises go out the window, and I literally just sit at my terrace and just enjoy the view, shut my eyes and listen to the sounds of outdoor activities, even if it's just people. Um, Sometimes I would even just go to a cafe and just watch people. I can
people
shamelessly
watch.
sit for hours and do people watching. And that's one of the things I love doing I did in New York in the parks there. And I do it whenever I can, even in Singapore. I just love to sit at a cafe or anywhere else and people watch.
Wow. Yeah, that people watching, that's an actual hobby, I think.
And invariably, somewhere somebody will notice you and make eye contact, and you might find a very interesting person to talk to. Uh,
True that. True
yeah.
that.
And I mean, if you and I were facing each other, it would be different. You and I were sitting next to each other in the flight and we got talking.
Right, right. Like, how could you not
Yeah.
talk to a passenger next to you in a long flight like that? So yeah, I'm glad that we did. Nice.
And what else? Yeah. And sometimes I also take social breaks, to be honest. Sometimes I just get tired of talking and I just want to be in my own space for a while. And I read and I listen to music.
Be in
Or,
solitude. Yeah.
yeah. But nothing lasts for too long. I think the moment I feel that I've done this and I found my peace, I'm back in the day-to-day
Right.
routine of life.
Right. Good answer.
Yeah.
Now, fourth question. How do you personally cope with stress?
It's the same thing. I may go out and reach out to the world and connect with the world, or I may go a bit inwards and become
Mhm.
a bit quiet.
Yeah.
Or I may engage in something creative, or
Like
I may
what?
engage in some,
Like a hobby
well,
or?
um, well, that's a difficult question. That's one of my goals for this year is to learn painting, landscape painting, because I love landscapes. I
Mm.
love traveling. Um, but it could
Wow.
be anything, just draw a little bit, color something, or, there was an oil painting in the house that got damaged the other day, and I just took my oil paints out and I just filled it in.
Oh,
Nobody can
wow.
tell.
Hopefully it wasn't an expensive one.
No, it wasn't. So these kind of little things, and I've been like that since my childhood. I've always found things to do.
Mm.
It's never been difficult for me to find things to do. And I grew up in the mountains in India. Life was quite quiet. And you naturally find you create things to do if you're in that mood. You'll always
Right.
find something, or just go to the kitchen and do something, cook something, or, uh, you know,
Yeah,
things
I
happen.
understand. Yeah, I'm the only
Yeah,
child. I had no siblings growing up, so I can definitely relate to that. Sort
right.
of keeping yourself occupied with something.
Yeah, and that's an asset.
You think so? Hmm.
I think so because we shouldn't be scared of being in our own company.
Hmm.
I think
Insightful.
too much of everything is, of course, not good. Whether you're alone a lot or you're always seeking social interaction a lot. I think too much of everything is bad. Um, but why would it be difficult? It's a nice thing. Then you know that you cherish your boredom and you create something out of it,
Hmm. Right.
and that's creativity.
Oh, okay. I see how you tied that in.
Right? And I have never been uncomfortable with my boredom, ever.
Wow.
That's just the way I have been.
That's a good trait to have though. So a lot of people
I'm
aren't the
happy if
same.
I,
A lot of people aren't the same way. Yeah.
yes. And that's what modern life, that's a fallout of modern life. It's harder and harder for people to have nothing to do or to feel bored. It's more and more scary for people these days to be in that state.
Yeah. Because then your mind can like go in other places. That's true.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
not
yeah.
so healthy.
It is
Yeah.
healthy. It is healthy if you use constructive things to build on it.
Right. Right. Yeah, so, because some people, if they have too much free time or too much downtime, too much solitude, if if you're a healthy person, you're gonna think of productive things to do, but then some people go where they shouldn't just to occupy their time, certain activities, certain drifts of mindset, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's
And that tells us a lot. When then gives a that gives us a place to fill with something positive. It doesn't have to be an activity. It could just be a feeling
mm,
or an
right,
emotion,
right,
right?
right. That's true. That's a good answer. My earbuds keep coming out. Sorry if I keep touching my ear.
It's okay. As you
No.
can imagine, I'm sitting at my terrace right now. So if there's any outdoor noise or any, anything that's causing a disturbance in your recording, then let me know.
Oh no, yeah. Is the view nice from
Yeah, it's
nice?
absolutely beautiful. It's drizzling and I'm by the water and people are
Mm.
just walking on the promenade and there are trees all around.
Oh,
So it's
that's
beautiful.
nice. That's
And
really
people are
nice.
on their boats on the water. They're doing something in Singapore called dragon racing.
What's that?
Dragon racing. So these are these long boats with lots of people sitting on the boat and they race. So there are teams of I
Oh,
think eight to ten people to each boat and they race. So that's happening since morning today.
isn't that an Olympic sport? No, right?
I have no idea.
Where
It
they
may
like speed
be.
race in like air-shaped boat or something? There's like,
I don't, maybe it could be.
yeah, it sounds familiar. Now this one you're really gonna get, you know, like maybe give more than you want to, but are you
Hmm.
vocal about your needs enough?
Yes, I am. I think I'm vocal enough, but and I think a lot of women and men don't allow themselves the permission to be vocal enough for this.
Hmm.
Um, and I have over the years become vocal. And as I look back, I probably did not give myself permission to be vocal because I had an inner judge and an inner critic looking at me, me and saying, self-care is selfish.
Yeah,
So, so perhaps the bigger battle is our inner battle than what the world expects from us when it comes to self-care. And we need to listen to our inner voice and allow it to say that it needs rest
right.
rather
Listening to your
than
body and yeah.
and allowing and then doing something about it in whatever way is feasible for us, versus expecting others to open the door for us.
Hmm.
So even if our circumstances are such that we are not privileged enough to open the doors ourselves, then within those confines of our day-to-day lives, what can we do for self-care?
Right.
Um, and then again, human creativity comes there.
And that too, and to not
The ability to survive, the resilience to survive and create, no matter how hard the restrictions around us are.
mm,
Because all of us don't have these privileges, and a
at
lot of
all.
people find it very difficult. But then if we allow creativity to flow, I'm quite positive that something or the other can emerge.
Mm,
And once you get your foot into the door, you can open the door a bit wider and create
right.
more options.
Exactly. Create more right approaches to going about it. That's a good point. That's a good point. Now, um, are there any positive changes that you want to make in your life, especially as, the New Year's approaching?
The year has gone by so fast.
So fast.
We're
I feel
we're
like
already in
especially
September.
September, I feel like this time of year always goes by the fastest in any time of year. We're in September, it's gonna be December, like before we know it. These next 3 months, September, well, 4 months,
Right,
October, November,
right.
December. Always so quick.
Yeah, that's true. So yes, I have a lot of goals actually. I want to learn painting. Um,
Oh, that's right.
and I want to travel, and I want to travel a lot more. I want to experience a lot more.
Same.
Um, I think traveling is something that has always been very close to my heart, always. And I want to allow myself to travel. Even if I'm not going with my family, maybe I could just, go by myself for 2 or 3 days and just take a break and come back. Um, and that's the message I want to leave for my kids as well, that it's okay to switch off once in a while and find your
Exactly.
space and go meet new people, see different landscapes, learn something new, just
Exactly.
reboot yourself. And along the way, you find amazing human beings, and they touch
Literally,
you,
how this
and
happened.
yeah, yeah, and your yeah, it's your faith in humanity gets restored over and over again, and your faith in yourself and your faith in life. And I think we all need that once in a while. A
I
beautiful
agree.
mix of being by yourself and moving inwards and connecting with the world outside at the same time.
I agree. And you know, it's also a privilege because a lot of people, for one, can't afford it. For two, they're comfortable where they're at, their surroundings. They don't want to explore um, other parts of. Oh, okay. So we have
And
10 more
that's
minutes.
fine,
Other parts of the world, you know.
That's fine. That's fine. People who can't travel for various reasons, financial, work-related reasons, or health reasons.
That
But
too. Yeah,
within that space, connecting with yourself on the inside and connecting with others on the outside, I think is the key. And the better you feel on the inside, the better you're going to be as a person to connect with on the outside.
I agree. I agree.
So everything shows, your body talks, your mind talks, right? And your soul talks.
Someone
I think I
talks.
believe that everything talks, it communicates. And when things are not good, that means there's a need that is not being taken care of, and that needs to be taken care of one way or
Right.
the other.
Right. It needs to be prioritized and not, ignored or left for last.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I also lean into spirituality a lot, actually. So, there are times when I just move into the spiritual. I do Buddhist chanting. I pray.
Hmm.
I try to meditate as much as I can.
Oh,
Depends on my mood.
are you Hindu?
I am a Hindu, but I
Nice.
also have. I'm also attracted to Buddhist philosophy, um,
Oh, wow.
and I see myself as spiritual rather than religious, if you know what I mean.
It is a
So
difference. Right.
yeah, so I lean into philosophies rather than leaning into rituals and uh, regimes and those kind of
Right.
routines.
Right.
So I get drawn into those aspects of different religions, and I lean into Buddhism a lot. Even into Hindu philosophy, when I talk
Mm.
to people, I try to understand things about life, and I get explanations. And sometimes I feel quite nice about looking at things in that way. And I find that modern psychotherapy and philosophy is very interconnected to religious philosophies as well,
Mm.
in many ways.
Right. I was gonna say that's also a big part of wellness, right?
Yes,
Having believing in different philosophies that can, positively affect your life, sort of
absolutely.
having those practices you believe in, rituals to help balance you. Yeah, that's wellness right there as well.
Yes, right. Absolutely. You're so right about that. Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, it says that we have 7 minutes left for the Zoom meeting. Um,
Uh-huh.
yeah, those are all 6 questions. Not too long, not too short, sweet, and to the point. Your answers were and questions. Um, yeah, so
I hope you got something relevant.
oh yeah, I know I did. Especially when I watched the replay since it's being recorded. But really, I hope that the audience that sees it, whether it's YouTube or from the website, right? They get resources and tips as well. So,
Right.
because that's really the
Right.
point of having this, of this
Yeah.
series.
Yeah. And even simple things, Ashley, like kindness and compassion, you don't need to buy an air ticket to do that. You don't need to have money
Mm,
to do that.
that's
But
true.
when you offer kindness and compassion and you make it a habit to give it to people around you, it just feeds you
Mm.
in so many ways.
Makes you feel good
And of
too.
course it has.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. I mean, I would be lying if I say that my clients don't affect me in different ways and I'm completely unaffected by them and I'm clinical, because that's not true. We
Right.
learn a lot and we gain a lot from every client that we work with.
Mm.
So, in that similar manner, every human that we come in contact with, every interaction has something to teach us.
I was gonna say, and you meet people for a reason, and to track back on what you said, yeah, especially in a field like that, you really
Mhm.
can't turn your emotions off, your feelings off, and once you clock out or once you go home, not think about your patients' situations and what they and confide in you with. So as we're humans, right? So you're gonna take some of it in, and it's gonna affect you, you know.
Yes, and then you
Uh,
work it through. We have our supervision, we have our personal therapies going on at the same time, so to keep ourselves on the right track, so
oh,
that we
right,
don't get derailed, you know,
right. From
and
hearing
we
what
can
they're going
regulate.
through.
Yes,
Yeah.
and we can regulate ourselves. But that does not mean that we are not affected, and that does not mean that our clients don't teach us. Every
Mm,
client teaches us something that we gain.
right. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Mm.
Yeah, so I truly do want to thank you for taking. I know that it's 11:38 p.m. here, so it's 11 a.m. there, right?
I know.
But
Sorry for getting into your self-care space, Ashley.
oh no, I'm kind of a night owl anyway. Like I stay up late
Okay.
longer than I should. So, um, but yeah, thank you for taking the time to, you know, be a guest, answer your questions, being vulnerable. That's that's what I look for in these interactions. So, yeah, I'm gonna, of course, follow up with you. If
Thank you.
yeah, if not tomorrow, definitely Monday. So yeah,
Thank you
Jatika,
very much, Ashley. Thank you very much.
yes,
And I wish you all the best.
thank you.
And it's lovely what you're doing. And I hope more and more
Oh,
people, you're able to reach more and more people through the work that you do.
thanks so much.
And
Yeah, it's
and
still
it's
fairly new,
absolutely,
so
yeah, just keep going. I'm sure you'll end up touching a lot of lives along the way.
oh, I hope so. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley. Thank you for your time.
Yes. For you, have a good day. For me,
Yes, and you
bedtime
have
for
a good
me.
night. Yes, and you have a good night.
Yes, thank you.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Thank you.